So what's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen, and I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. Now, in this video here, scientists terrifying new discovery in the Sahara Desert, or Sahara, depending on where you're from, all right, changes everything. Now, you know when we start to speak about the Sahara, we got to talk about the lost city of Atlantis, all right? To me, I fall in between. Some people still believe, some people is just straight up, it's fictional. You're wasting your time. I fall in the middle, you know what I mean? I just like to hear the facts and the stories about it and to continue to search. So we're gonna check out everything that we can about this, and if you wanna learn something, let's check it out. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. Let's learn something.
For years, dreamers, occultists, and New Agers have been attracted by the idea of Atlantis, the lost island subcontinent frequently imagined as an advanced utopian society holding wisdom that may bring world peace. Thousands of books, journals, and websites have been written on Atlantis, and it is still a popular topic. People have lost riches and in some cases their lives in search of Atlantis.
That's
if
crazy.
you type Atlantis into Google, around 150 million results will show up. Obviously, Plato's legend of Atlantis has long engaged many individuals, from scientists to mythicists, with various locations being offered as the likely location of this lost and sunken metropolis. But did such a city ever exist? And if so, where would the ruins be? Is it possible though?
You can't ask that question or pose that question to somebody who put millions, lost millions and even their lives, bro. That's insane to think about. And everybody's saying this, or not everybody, a lot of people are saying this thing is just so fictional. But man, to have that strong of a conviction to risk your life to find it, wow.
City ever exist? And if so, where would the ruins be? Is it possible though that it has already been there in front of us in one of the most unlikely places on the planet, in the middle of the Sahara Desert? Stay with us until the end to learn how a recent discovery indicated that Atlantis could be located in the Sahara Desert. Unlike many myths whose beginnings have been lost in the mists of time, we know exactly when and where the legend of Atlantis initially originated. The story was initially prescribed in two of Plato's dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, which were written around 360 BC. Though Atlantis is commonly imagined as a peaceful utopia today, the Atlantis described by Plato in his fable was quite different. In his book, Encyclopedia of Dubious Archaeology, Professor of Archaeology Ken Feder notes that in Plato's story, Atlantis is not a place to be honoured or emulated at all. Atlantis is not the perfect society, quite the contrary. Atlantis is the embodiment of a materially wealthy, technologically advanced, and militarily powerful nation that has become corrupted by its wealth, sophistication, and might. The Atlantis legend, as propagated in Plato's morality tale, is more about the city's heroic competitor Athens than a drowned civilization. If Atlantis existed today and was discovered undamaged and inhabited, its inhabitants would most likely strive to kill and enslave us all. There are no other records of Atlantis anywhere in the world, indicating that Plato invented it as a plot device for his writings. There are many existing Greek works. Certainly someone else would have mentioned at the very least such a magnificent location. There is absolutely no evidence from any source that Atlantis mythology existed prior to Plato's writing about it. However, many...
See, but you hear that, and then you think back to the people who have risked their lives for it. Something had to give them strong conviction, bro. Something that indicated that this does exist. This is not just something from two books. Can't be. I'm passionate about things. I'm pretty sure you're passionate about things. And when you have a strong conviction about something, it's because you have a lot of facts and indicators saying that this exists, or this is here, or this is somewhere on this earth, man. And if I just apply everything I have, my life include, you know what I mean? I'll find it. And it makes me hard to believe that it's just, you hear something like that, you're like, man, no. Can't be. That's what keeps me in the middle, I guess.
Magnificent location. There is absolutely no evidence from any source that Atlantis mythology existed prior to Plato's writing about it. However, many people over the years have believed that there must be some truth to the mythology, speculating on the location of Atlantis. Based on the same set of data, countless Atlantis experts have found the lost continent all over the world. Candidates include the Atlantic Ocean, Antarctica, Bolivia, Turkey, Germany, Malta, and the Caribbean, each with its own unique set of evidence and reasons. But might it have been right in front of us in the Sahara Desert, in a location known as the Eye of the Sahara? The Richat structure, sometimes known as the Eye of the Sahara, is a strange African phenomenon located near west-central Mauritania. It is situated on the Adrer Plateau of the Sahara. It is a fairly symmetrical geologic feature composed of numerous concentric circles of exposed sedimentary rock seen from space. In fact, that is how scientists discovered it in the first place. The Richat structure is a 45-kilometre wide geological anomaly that has been compared to Jupiter's Great Red Spot by some. When you get to the ground, all you see is sand, rocks, and more sand. As a result, it's hardly unexpected that the structure was only found from space in 1965. The 4-day voyage of Gemini 4 included not only the first American spacewalk, but also the first photos of our planet. At first glance, it appears to be a meteoric impact crater. In fact, it is most likely the result of millions of years of erosion on Earth. The meteor impact theory has fallen out of favour since the site lacks the minerals often found in shock metamorphism. That is where the surrounding rock is deformed by the severe heat and pressure of a high-velocity impact. Long ago, the Sahara was a temperate region full of colourful rivers, lakes and flora rather than a desert. This changed for unknown...
That view right there, that aerial view that they just constructed, definitely looks like it. Definitely looks like it.
Colourful rivers, lakes and flora rather than a desert. This changed for unknown reasons. Weathering took away layers of hard and soft rock as it turned into a barren wasteland. The rings exhibit older igneous rocks in the middle and younger quartzite and sedimentary rocks in the surrounding rings and ridges. The structure includes 3 primary rings, the exact shape of which experts are still unsure. NASA's photos of the Richat structure use artificial colouring to display all of the layers of rock and to differentiate bedrock, sand, vegetation and salt-laden deposits. The rings do not appear blue from space. Tectonic and volcanic activity caused by the cataclysmic separation of Pangaea 100 million years ago led molten rocks to rise and form a dome, the rocks of which date back to the Proterozoic and Ordovician periods. Later, hydrothermal action led the centre to collapse and generate megabreccia, a type of huge broken rock containing tiny quartz-rich sandstone shards. The centre lies below the surrounding rings and ridges because it has collapsed in on itself. The structure is surrounded by massive sand dunes known as the Wadan. These dunes are home to the Kasors, medieval settlements and historic Saharan trading routes. When viewed from above, aerial photographs of the eye reveal a number of large white spots. These are actually salt pockets on the sand's surface. This implies that ocean water flowed over this area in the last 12,000 years. The number 12,000 was not chosen at random. Several recent articles have claimed that the Sahara Desert used to have a lush green climate. Everything was washed away in a massive flood about 11,600 years ago, leaving behind a deserted wasteland. That is approximately 56 million years later than people previously thought that part of Africa was underwater. The Trans-Saharan Seaway had submerged parts of Africa at the time. So if you think it can't be Atlantis because it isn't underwater, think again. The eye is now landlocked, but it wasn't always that way. The main reason why people believe the Eye of the Sahara is not Atlantis is that it is higher than sea level. However, 11,600 years is a long time. The region has lifted since Atlantis would have sunk. The salt in the area indicates that the ocean once flowed over this part of Africa, indicating that it was once below sea level, but is now higher due to how the Earth's crust shifts up and down and side to side. This was especially true given the amount of volcanic activity in the area. People believe that if Atlantis was as large as Plato claimed and had sunk into the sea, we would have discovered it by now. Someone has to have seen remnants of buildings or artifacts among all the oceanographers, submariners, and other people who study the ocean. But if we recall the massive flood that wiped out the green landscape that was once the Sahara, we have our answer. Something that could have completely wiped out a land's foliage and other life forms could certainly wipe out an entire city with little to no evidence left behind. More recently, the YouTube channel Bright Insight stated that the elements of the Rishat structure match Plato's description of Atlantis in a viral and quite convincing video. Many other parallels have been pointed out by proponents of the Eye of the Sahara equals Atlantis theory, some of which appear to be even more fanciful. Five-time Emmy Award winner writer Paul Wagner, for example, asserts that King Atlas, the king of Atlantis and namer of the Atlantic Ocean, is the same person as Atlas of Mauritania, or that Atlantis is located in the same location as the Eye on Herodotus's map from 450 BC. Unfortunately, Herodotus did not create any maps himself. However, the maps circulated on the internet as his are neither authentic nor a scam. They were created thousands of years later based on Herodotus's work to assist modern readers in keeping track of all the peoples and geographical aspects mentioned by Herodotus. One of these characteristics is Mount Atlas, and one of these peoples is the Atlantean tribe, but Herodotus never mentions Atlantis. One of Wagner's seemingly most convincing statements is that hundreds of artifacts have been discovered in and around the Rishat structure. He believes the objects discovered, which include arrowheads, spears, stone spheres, surfboards, oars, ship hulls, and other artifacts, date from the time of Atlantis. Some formerly classified CIA files were recently made public. Some redactions remained classified, but they gave fresh information on the Eye of Sahara.
Now let's go back and look at this. Pull this up. Now, didn't we just learn, because this looks extremely similar, didn't we just learn that a lot of times you can make some of this stuff from the volcanic activity after it hardens and different things like that? You can create it. That's where a lot of ancient civilizations got a lot of their tools from, the spearheads and different things like that, because it was so sharp. So when I look at that, especially the black ones on here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, it makes me think about that. Go back and check out that video we just talked about of, was it the jungle one? I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember which one it was, but they talked about it, that from the volcano. Oh, it might have been the one on the, on Yellowstone. So that probably was yesterday, or most recent video. But yeah, they talked about how the volcanic activity could create that once it hardens, and it was so sharp that they used a lot of it to create tools and different things out and weaponry out of it. So looking at that, it doesn't mean it has to come from Atlantis. It could have came from just some ancient civilization there. You know what I mean? Not trying to downplay their you know what I mean, their theories or anything like that, but I'm just saying there's other theories that this could be linked to. So I don't know, man. Well, I mean, what do you do at this point?
Convincing statements is that hundreds of artifacts have been discovered in and around the Rishat structure. He believes the objects discovered, which include arrowheads, spears, stone spheres, surfboards, oars, ship hulls, and other artifacts, date from the time of Atlantis. Some formerly classified CIA files were recently made public. Some redactions remained classified, but they gave fresh information on the Eye of Sahara. In 1967, the CIA executed a covert mission in which aircraft were flown to a dozen various places across the world to undertake geomagnetic anomaly surveillance. Scientists intended to look for any differences or occurrences in the geomagnetic fields that insulate us from the vacuum of space. One of the areas tested was the Rishat structure. While the fact that a mission occurred has been declassified, the mission's results have not been made public. This is what was written about the Eye of the Sahara findings. While the scientific aspects of this survey are totally unclassified and available to the worldwide scientific community, there is still some disagreement over why the findings would be classified. This isn't proof of the lost city of Atlantis, but it is proof that something strange is going on in the Eye of the Sahara that the CIA...
But what does that sound like to you, right? It's only available to the scientific community. Why? What does that sound like to you? Because to me, that sounds like, and this could be all just a theory to me, but that sounds like, oh, but we still stand to benefit off of this, off of the search for it. I mean, think about it. It's resorts out here in different places that benefit off of that whole name, the Atlantis. Get lost in Atlantis. They play off of the name. So now it's become pretty much a business. So if it released some, I don't know, declassified documents that should be made to the public now, but it's not. If they released that and it had information proving that it doesn't exist, a lot of people stand to lose money off of that. Just a thought, just a theory. I have nothing to back that up. But I'm just saying, think about it.
Agreement over why the findings would be classified. This isn't proof of the lost city of Atlantis, but it is proof that something strange is going on in the eye of the Sahara that the CIA believes should be kept hidden from the public. Atlantis' central island was reported to have remarkable features such as 2 freshwater springs, 1 hot and 1 cold. This would be extremely rare, considering there are no other known locations in the world with such springs. Something like this could have been the cause for the mission in the first place, but for the time being, we don't have an answer. A book titled Adam and Eve was also discovered in the declassified files. The complete book became available, but the reasons for its inclusion in the CIA files remains unknown. There are assertions in the text regarding entire continents being buried by ocean water around 11,600 years ago. That number comes up again. This number corresponds to the time when the Sahara transitioned from lush and verdant to arid desert. It also corresponds to the sinking of Atlantis. Furthermore, it corresponds to the Younger Dryas period. The Younger Dryas is a well-known example of Earth's sudden transition. It began around 14,500 years ago when the Earth's climate transitioned from a chilly glacial environment to a warmer state. The end is thought to have occurred around 11,500 years ago. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the end was exceptionally abrupt. This could be what caused the lost city of Atlantis to vanish rather than simply sink into the ocean. Is the Eye of the Sahara really the lost city of Atlantis? Let us know in the comments section below.
I don't know, man. It's interesting, though. Very, very, very interesting. Everything surrounded is interesting. And you know what's also interesting? The fact that there's always some classified that has been declassified, but we still can't. Or it's something similar to that. It's always surrounding something we're trying to figure out answers to. Why is that? Why is that? Oh, but you want to keep it hidden from the public to protect us? I'm tired of hearing that. Sorry. I'm tired of hearing that. But hey, just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Stick around and stay tuned. Let me know what you think. And till next reaction, I'm gone. Peace.